Hello cuties and welcome back to another sewing project. For today's creation, I am working on the first dress in what I am calling my yellow dress series. I have been thinking about creating a few dresses around the same color theme, and yellow felt like a nice place to start. When I saw this fabric, it immediately caught my attention because of the soft floral print. The yellow is bright enough to stand out, but it still has a gentle and calming look to it. Sometimes yellow can be very bold, but this one feels light and fresh. The flowers add another layer of softness, and together they create a fabric that already has a cheerful personality before it is even turned into a garment. One thing I enjoy about floral fabric is how much they can influence the overall mood of a project. Even before I start cutting, I can already imagine the feeling that the finished piece might have. Some floral print feels dramatic, some feels vintage, and some feel playful. This particular print reminds me of sunny afternoons, blooming garden, and those days when everything feels a little brighter. As I prepare the fabric, I like taking a moment to appreciate the print itself. Sometimes we become so focused on sewing that we forget to enjoy the fabric. Even design starts with a piece of cloth. And I think that is one of the most interesting parts of the process. A flat piece of fabric does not look like much at first, but with a little planning and a lot of sewing, it slowly becomes something completely different. For this project, I want to create a dress with a soft and feminine shape. I wanted the skirt to have movement, and I wanted the overall design to feel light and comfortable. There are so many directions a sewing project can go, but this time, I was drawn towards something classic and easy to wear. Yellow is a color that often appears during spring and summer, and it is easy to understand why. It reminds people of sunshine, warm weather, flowers, and longer days. Whenever I see yellow fabrics in a fabric store, they instantly bring a little energy to the room. Even on a cloudy day, a yellow fabric can feel bright. As I continue working on this project, I start seeing the different pieces coming together. This is usually my favorite stage. The dress is no longer just an idea, but it is not finished yet either. It sits somewhere in between imagination and reality. One thing I find fascinating about sewing is how very small step contributes to the final result. A seam here, a stitch there, and little by little the garment begins to take shape. Sometimes the progress feels slow, especially during the parts that are repetitive, but those details are what make everything come together. The floral print of this fabric has a soft and delicate appearance that works beautifully with a yellow background. The combination creates a look that feels seasonal without being limited to only one occasion. The flowers add visual interest while still allowing the color itself to be the main feature. As I sew, I often think about different fabrics can completely change the personality of a design. The exact same pattern can look entirely different depending on the fabric choice. That is one of the reasons sewing never becomes boring for me. There are endless possibilities. Today, I am using a floral fabric, but if I use stripes, polka dots, or a solid color, the dress would tell a completely different story. Fabric selection is almost like choosing the mood of the project before it even begins. Another thing I enjoy about yellow is how it works with natural light. When sunlight hits the fabric, the color seems to become even more vibrant. It creates a warm feeling that photographs beautifully and brings attention to the details of the garment. And the construction continues, the dress starts looking more and more like what I imagine. Seeing the bodice, the skirt, and the overall silhouette come together is always rewarding. It reminds me why I enjoy making my own clothes. Sewing takes patience. There are moments when things go smoothly and moments where adjustments are needed. That is simply part of the creative process. Every project teaches something new, even when the design itself seems familiar. I also think this style works nicely with a floral print because the silhouette allows the fabric to shine. Sometimes, a fabric always has so much character that it does not need an overly complicated design. The print becomes part of the overall visual story. As we move through the warmer seasons, lightweight floral dresses always seem to make an appearance. There is something timeless about them. Year after year, they remain popular because they capture the feeling of spring and summer so naturally. Flowers blooming, longer daylight hours, outdoor gatherings, and warm afternoons all seem connected to floral fabrics in one way or another. When I look at this project, those are the kinds of images that come to mind. One of the reasons I wanted to begin my yellow dress series with this fabric is because it represents the feeling I want the series to have: bright, cheerful, creative, and inspired by the season. I am also excited to see how the next yellow projects will compare. Even though they may share the same color family, each fabric and each design will have its own personality. That is part of what makes a series fun to create. Now the dress is nearly complete. The transformation becomes much easier to see. This project has always been a lovely way to begin the yellow dress series, and I am happy with how the floral print and the yellow tones work together. The combination feels light, seasonal, and full of character. Thank you so much for spending time with me while I work on this project. I hope you enjoyed following along with the process and seeing this dress come to life from start to finish. And this is the completed result of the Yellow Dress Series number 1. I am looking forward to creating the next project and continuing this colorful journey. Until next time, happy sewing and thank you for watching. See you in the next one.